Welcome in, everybody. Joe Quills here with you. And no, this is not also eligible. I was like, let's do it anyway. So welcome in. Joe Quills here with you. It's Monday night. Flying solo this week on Monday night. Mike is on assignment somewhere. I forget what he said he was doing, but even if he is busy, hey, things happen, But we're here tonight. It's the All-Star break. It's the Home Run Derby tonight, and we're going to keep an eye on that. We got other things planned as well, so we can get everything ready for you guys here and get ready for tomorrow night's game, and talk a little bit more about the other things that happened over the course of the weekend. We had an epic weekend, or we had an epic edition of Also Eligible on Saturday. We'll get into that at some point tonight. We also have I don't even know what the hell it was. See, this is what happens when everything has gone to crap tonight, because I had thought I had everything set up for tonight. And then, no, and then, and then, no, and then. I thought I had everything set up, and then I see the alert that I was giving out Slurpees. They were giving out Slurpees at Horseshoe Indy and Prairie Meadows, which was Saturday's alert. So, hey, it happens from time to time. So, we'll get that fixed for tomorrow night, and who knows, mate. And forgive me, I gotta. And forgive me, I got a text from one of my buddies. I've been trying to get him to watch the show, but I haven't been able to get him to watch. So he's like, "Well, what are you doing with yourself?" Chronic masturbation. But yeah, so I saw that come up. So I was like, my phone's been going off left and right because I get the alerts from the Joe, not the Joe Quills page, the Q&A racing page. So we have all that going on as well. But so we got some things to talk about here tonight, and I am flying solo tonight. That's okay. And Ben Rice only has 7 home runs, so I think we are safe to say. But I think this is his first home run derby. So sometimes, maybe you're just, it's just you're not ready for prime time or whatever you want to say. I don't care. But right now, Wilson Contreras, who I blasted on X tonight, because we'll get into everything here. We had the opening, the glitz and the glamour that Major League Baseball does at the beginning of the Home Run Derby. But we had a little bit of a different flair to it tonight. Had a little bit of a Rocky feel because of the fact that you had Michael Buffer there, and you had a ring the size set up as a ring in the shape of home plate. So that was interesting to say the least here. But just some things to mention from the start here. Wilson Contreras has 13 home runs so far. Um, Jordan Walker has 13. My pick, Minataka Murakami, has 9. So he's floating on the edge here. Jack Caglione has 8. And Ben Rice, I hear his middle name is Dover. He only has 7 home runs. So I think he is eliminated. So, and we have a totally different format this year where you get 20 swings and that's it. Well, let me rephrase that. It's 20 swings, but if you hit a home run on your 20th and final swing, you just hit and hit and hit and hit. So you can conceivably have 30, 35, 40 home runs, but you will have it'll just be that, it's probably you'll call it off at a certain point, especially if you know you're in the final 4, which will be the second round here coming up here. But Junior Caminero, and then we have 2 Phillies coming up next, Bryce Harper, and Kyle Schwarber. I think it's Schwarber then Harper. I'm not sure. But Ben Rice is out. So Jack Caglione is on the bubble right now. And it seems like it's a little bit longer this year because you're not rushing to get as many swings as humanly possible done in 3 minutes. And I think it's also good for the safety of the kids on the field because you're too busy chasing the ball, and then the next thing you know, here comes another ball and it hits you in the back of the head. So even though but also I think you're in a bandbox at Citizens Bank Park, and we saw some of Wilson Contreras' homers, and some of them just missed and I'm still going to call what it should have been, Harry the K's, his part in left field there. But you're getting close to the ghost patio area, whatever they call it now. But the one thing you're seeing, and Wilson Contreras did say this, I think we're seeing that this format, even though you're not racing against the clock to hit as many home runs as humanly possible, you're also hitting a finite number of swings. But the thing is, if you think about it, Wilson Contreras said it best. It's a very human night here tonight. And, that's going to take a lot out of you. It's going to take a lot out of you even with a lot of these different players here. So, but I think part of the reason why the rules were changed is because this is one of the easiest parks to hit a home run in. And they stated that at the beginning of the show. It is one of the stadiums that hits the most home runs. And this time of the year, and I'll also go a little weather nerd on you guys. The wind is blowing out, which is basically what happens from May to mid to late September. It's just the way these atmospheric conditions were created. And they're hitting a lot of balls into that second deck in left field because, you're getting fed a meatball to swing at. So you have that. Now, I just think that, you and we see it every year. We see balls go in stadiums to places we don't normally see them. So we are seeing that. And but but it must be cool if you're one of these kids that are on the field here getting to shag flies and stuff like that. Yeah, Kyle Schwarber's up next. Okay. So, and I think there's also something with the I think there's also something with going once you get down to that final strike, you change the ball, and you have that pink ball. And by the way, why don't they use blue balls? Yeah, I know T-Mobile, their colors are pink and white, but or I'm sorry, the magenta ball. But yeah, I mean, is there instant replay here? Because Caminero hit a home run here. It looks like that there's a little bit of a controversy here, but then again, this isn't like Veterans Stadium where the foul net, the foul pole net that they had went all the way to the top of the stadium because when the game was when they set up for Eagles, they would just roll it up to the top, I believe. So it does look like it's a but also this was the All-Star game that was 7-8 years in the making. And usually Major League Baseball doesn't. So apparently that last ball was a foul ball. This was 7-8 years in the making because they announced this 2026 game like 7-8 years in advance. And the reason why they did that so far in advance is David Montgomery, who was the then CEO, figurehead, whatever you want to call it, of the Phillies at the time, he was dying of cancer. So he ended up getting the All-Star game for 20. They ended up announcing it before he passed away that the game would be in 2026 here. So, and this is 8 years in the making, whereas NHL and NBA, I give you one of those because you could have did the same thing in 1976, but you didn't. The NBA ended up in San Francisco, and the NHL just didn't have an All-Star game, even though they were playing to have it on Long Island. So now Kyle Schwarber's up here. Be interesting to see here who he has in. Um, and the way Kyle Schwarber hits, I mean, he can go off and hit like 10, 15, but the way that he swings, like the one thing that you hear all the time, and he's 0 for 3 here, so um, but the one thing is he has such a short swing, and he's struggling right now. He's 0 for 5. And there's your typical Kyle Schwarber home run there. So we'll see what happens here with Kyle Schwarber here. So you're starting to see him get on track here. Um, but he hasn't hit a seriously long way. I think 451 may be the longest. And but I mean, he had 56 home runs last year. But I don't think the home run derby would affect him too much because the way he swings, if he connects, it's gone. And that went 461. He doesn't necessarily. He hits another one that's 8. I don't think, like, a lot of times players will say, and even on, even whoever covers this, they'll say, worry if it messes your swing. I think it will mess Harper's swing more than it would be Kyle Schwarber, but that's just me. So he's got 2 swings left here in the first round here. So we have 10 home runs, 1 final swing here. Now, Kyle Schwarber was the favorite to win this home run derby. Um, my selection, Murakami, is out. So so if Harper hits 10 home runs, it's going to be a matter of how far his longest home run is, because that's the tiebreaker here. So right now the top four are Wilson Contreras and Jordan Walker with 13, Junior Caminero with 12, Kyle Schwarber with 10. Murakami is eliminated after 9 home runs. Caglione had 8. And Ben Rice was long eliminated with only 7 home runs. So, but then we have Bryce Harper here. So, but I mean, I think we're seeing that it's a, we'll see how late this home run derby goes, because it seems like it is going to be about the same time as the other ones in how long it takes. But I do want to say one thing. The opening was great. Bringing Michael Buffer in, Philly guy. Now, I would have liked Bruce Buffer here as well, have them both here. But, Bruce Buffer is his assistant, so I'm sure he's in the stadium. It's just that he wasn't out on the field with his brother. So that was cool. Yeah, so what's interesting here is you get 2 Phillies in the home run derby, and one's going to get eliminated here. So, but the only other thing is the announcers have been saying tonight, and it annoys me knowing Citizens Bank Park like I do. Oh, somebody's going to hit the ball out of Citizens Bank Park. Well, if you're going to hit the ball out of Citizens Bank Park, you're going to have to hit it out the dead center over that standing room area. That's the only way you're going to do it. Because the corners there, that right center field corner, behind there is the kids area. So you're not going to get it out unless you hit it about 600 feet. The left field corner, you got a lot of space behind there. So if you're going to hit it out of the stadium, it's got to be dead center. So that's not going to happen. So that's just me. So, but we do have this event here tonight. And I don't know how people feel about the home run derby this year being on Netflix. Now, I know from my Facebook feed, my personal Facebook feed, everybody, excuse my language, because Anthony Rizzo also before the show showed that this is on a streaming platform and not on a streaming platform and not a regular terrestrial television channel, because Anthony Rizzo, after something, said, "I call bullshit." So, but the Facebook people, the groups that I follow, not gonna lie, they're whiny fucking bitches. Oh, I can't survive without John Kruk. Well, a day without John Kruk behind the mic is a fairly good show to watch because to me, I'm tired of his shtick. Does he bring good points yet? But I think if he focuses on the game at hand, he's pretty damn good. But when he starts going off on these tangents, forget it. And I just think that I would rather have somebody who wants to focus on the game, like Ruben Amaro Jr. I want somebody that has brains, not someone who sits on them. But but Bryce Harper's struggling here too. He only has 4 home runs here. He needs 6 to get into the next round because I think he's hit the longer homer. But and this year also, because I have a bunch of all-star jerseys in my closet. I have Chase Utley, Roy Halladay, um, and a few others. I can't think of them off the top of my head, um, but you see these, and this year I understand why they did it, but I think what they should have did was if you want to sell merch, have red jerseys for the American League, blue for the National League, because, oh, by the way, this is the Cradle of Liberty, and Schwarber's up to 8 home runs. So, now Schwarber's down to his last swing. As long as he homers, he's still alive. If he doesn't hit a home run here, he's eliminated. And you got the magenta ball here coming up, and he's out. So the final 4 are Wilson Contreras, Jordan Walker, Junior Caminero, and Kyle Schwarber. But, like, for example, you have the Scherzies, as we like to call them. And I like that they say ring the bell on them because that's the Phillies motto. But yeah, I would have loved to seen American and National, American and Red, National and Blue, because this is the Cradle of Liberty. This is where America was founded 250 years ago. But, I think he could have had a little bit better planning here. But they decided just to go with the regular jerseys. They have the USA 250 patches on them, the Home Run Derby, and you have the red, white, and blue numbers on them, which, it is. But just me thinking aloud here. So I don't know if this is something, next year I don't even know where the All-Star game is, nor do I care right now. But we're going to get through that. So, and also, I do want to say one thing. Kudos to Major League Baseball for kicking out Dane Baker today. Now, if you don't know, Dane Baker, in my opinion, insults our veterans. Plain and simple. I'll say it. Dan Baker insults our veterans. And this goes back to when he first started doing this shtick, which I understand it is a script that the Phillies probably gave him, but being a guy that has been the PA announcer for the Phillies for over 50 years, I think that you have a right to say, this doesn't sound right. And even worse, you can tell he's just nothing more than a yes man. He orders our veterans to salute. Veterans, please salute. Now, the guy across the street, the Flyers, Lou Nolan, he's getting on my shit list too, because not only he asked the veterans to salute, but he tells them to salute with the right hand. What if you're Bob Dole and your right hand doesn't work? Because there's a picture of him at George Bush, H.W. Bush's funeral, and he saluted with his left hand because guess what? His right hand is incapacitated. Remember when he was running for president, he had a pen in his hand, like, Bob Dole said this and Bob Dole said that. So I lean toward more him being a draft dodger than it is a do as I say, not say as I do type person, because I would have a little bit more respect for him if he did this. But the day of the Charlottesville incident, the rioting that they had down there in Charlottesville, 2017, 2018, the Phillies had their Wall of Fame night, which turned out to be an alumni night because they told Pete Rose to kick rocks after he was alleged to have some potential illegal relations or immoral relations back in the 70s. So Dan Baker did his thing. Please rise, remove your hats, veterans, please salute, blah, blah, blah. And then you show the anthem. Gary Maddox is there saluting, and he's bawling his eyes out because of everything that happened that day in Charlottesville. Dan Baker standing there. Is he saluting? No. Why? Because he probably never served. He probably had heel spurs just like Donald J. Trump Jr. III. Or the first. But you get the idea. So that's why I have such a disdain for Dan Baker. Now, if I was the guy that was the PA guy, I'd be like, can we change the wording of this a little bit to be a little more sensitive to our veterans? Because they're fighting for our country, and you got some pissant ordering them to salute. But the guy that they brought in, at least for tonight, was the guy that does the PA for the Super Bowl, and I think he does the Minnesota Vikings games during the regular season. So good on MLB for bringing somebody more professional for that. And hopefully he's doing it tomorrow too. But if not, I want to apologize to everybody out there. If you get offended by Dan Baker ordering our veterans to salute, he never served our country. He didn't salute the flag back in 2017. And I wish I had DVR'd it and then put it on video so I can say, hey, look, he did not salute the flag. But that's why I have such disdain for him. Because he does not respect our veterans. And I know I would have a hard time doing it because you may not agree with the battles we may be fighting, but you respect what they're doing to protect our country, to do things that some people may not be able to do, to be out there on the front lines. You may not agree with the person who makes the decision to do so. And I'm sure even when Obama or Bush II or whatever, you can go back in the annals of history. And You can say, I don't agree with this. 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 But still respect that they're fighting for our country and all that. So, but that's the point that I want to make with that is I just do not like um, what that what that says. So, but we're about ready to start the second round here, and we'll get to our epic also eligible weekend here. Okay, so we do have time here. So Saturday, also eligible, we focused on Horseshoe Indianapolis, and we also focused on Prairie Meadows. So I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to share the video of the horse that I handicapped here, um, maximum offer here. And this is what I said about this horse on Saturday morning. Maximum offer. She was in that race. She didn't fire as well. Um, she was on the lead there, was dueling there down the backstretch, and then Counting Stars just took over on the stretch. Was 35-1 that day. Does get a little bit of a class break here. Also gets a short field once again. Could be she could take this field gate the wire this afternoon. You never know, um, but when she's been in graded stakes races, she has dropped anchor twice here. But the Fairgrounds Oaks, that was a tougher field. The Acorn was a tough field, and this doesn't appear the world's toughest field in this race here. The fourth.
From top to tail, and it's Maximum Offer in charge of the early pace. The opening quarter, 24.74. That's the slowest ever in the Indiana Oaks. Maximum Offer slows them up. Howard Ortiz and Prom Queen staying close to the pace, and there's not much early pace on Maximum Offer, who dictates her own terms going past the half-mile pole with Nala running in third. Then on the outside is Betty's Pearl, and Star Actress remains last. It's Maximum Offer, and she's in charge of the pace. Half mile 48.95, steady as she goes. Maximum Offer to just inside 3 furlongs from home. With on the outside Prom Queen poised for a bid. Maximum Offer tackled by Prom Queen, and Betty's Pearl is right there in range. With on the outside Star Actress, who's in the forepath, making progress now for Junior Alvarado, and Nala up the rail. They turn for home. 3/4 from Maximum Offer has led them a long way. In 1 minute 12.44 seconds, Betty's Pearl is coming with a charge, but Maximum Offer, she's still there for Luis Saez past the 16th, and Maximum Offer was unstoppable in the Indiana Oaks. Maximum Offer, wire to wire, 1 by 3 from Betty's Pearl and Nala. Then Prom Queen and Star Actress was
The 8, which is leading change, won at first asking impressively. This colt was near the pace here. Had two horses in front of him that was dueling early on that race and just took over in the stretch. Sure, there's red flags here. Second start going into a graded stakes race, but with a race like that, you have to say, maybe we have something here. I mean, yeah, this horse is pretty well bred, but, got to take the chance, right? And also now with Desert Gate not running, Bricklin not running, you got a shot here. Now, Gun Runner, now I did show you the numbers for the sire stats for the 2. Here's Gun Runner's information. He's getting 7.4 from his offspring, 7.4 furlongs per win. He's got 651 horses that have made it, 651 offspring that have made it to the track. So he does have his offspring run in these longer races and bigger races as well. So does win 18% on dirt route races, which this race is. So you're looking at a horse here that, does like to, I mean, this horse was a real menace on the track for others, being on or close to the lead, stuff like that. But even with that, I like the way that this race looked. Now, if this horse can settle right off the lead, he can very easily win this race going away. Plain and simple. With the 2 scratches here, especially with the morning line favorite, not gonna lie, our money man's not going to be 4-1. Leading change will not be 5-1. In some tracks, they would totally redo the morning line odds with these 7 horses that are remaining in this race. But but all the morning line is, it's a guess of what they think the odds will be at the end. And sometimes they're real close, and sometimes they're way off. But that is leading change. Horse that's getting a lot of can settle, and the fact our money man will probably be just sitting off the pace here here in this race. Out of the Woods and Creole Chrome are going to be dueling. If one of the horses in the daily double scratches, then and of course, same as the case with the Prairie Meadows races that we're going to go through here. If one of the horses in the daily double scratches, then just totally ignore the daily double wager. That'll be in the text when we get to that in a little bit. When that gets posted, the Horseshoe Indy article will be posted at 11:30. The Prairie Meadows article will be at 11:45. So, but you can read the text of everything that I typed up for these 4 races and 2 articles later today. So I got a double in the article 3 with 8. And I couldn't find that part here. And I think we might have been silent for like the last 15 minutes. And of course, now that means I got to watch this again afterwards just to see that. But here is the video of the Indiana Derby from Saturday.
They're off in the Indiana Derby. And Mr. T out to an alert start for Mitchell Merle. Mr. T to the early lead. Here comes Out to the Woods, and leading change is right up there with the front runners as they enter the first turn. And then comes on the outside Creole Chrome, who's running in fourth as they round the first turn. Zenal and Our Money Man has drifted back toward last. As they go to the back of the track, just over 6 furlongs to run. And the leader is Out to the Woods, quarter 23.81 seconds. With Luis Saez, Out to the Woods has taken the early lead here in front by 3/4 of a length. Howard Ortiz has leading change right there, close up to Out of the Woods, making this run toward the half-mile pole. Then 4 clear. Mr. T, the Indiana Futurity winner, is running in third for Mitchell Merle. It is about to be joined by Zenal, who's coming with a bit up the rail. Our Money Man is now picking up between horses, and on the outside, Creole Chrome. Half mile in 46.84. Here comes leading change up to confront Out to the Woods. So this is 3 furlongs out. And Our Money Man and the Wildcat Blue steady headway for Axel Concepcion. Leading change has taken a short lead from Out to the Woods, who tries to respond to pressure at the quarter pole. Our Money Man right there, 3/4, 1 minute 10.55 seconds. Zenal straightens away in fourth. Creole Chrome and Mr. T, top of the stretch. Here comes Our Money Man and leading change up to the forefront. From toward the inside, Out to the Woods. They're deep in the final furlong. Zenal's running in fourth. Iron Ortiz and leading change, the son of Gunrunner. On the outside, Our Money Man, the son of Mr. Money. Leading change holds Our Money Man to win the Indiana Derby. Leading change, he's 2 for 2 and repels Our Money Man, then Out to the Woods and Zenal.
So I hit both halves of that double. Kyle Schwarber's on right now, and fans are reaching over the fence now, being assholes. But leading change did win. $3 to win. Like I said, he won't be 5 to 1. He ended up being 1 to 2. So you got the horse to win. You got the other horse at 13 to 1, or paid $13 to win. And oh, by the way, you got that double that paid $36.80. And if you took my suggestion and played for $20, you got $368 back. You're welcome. But when I go through my stats, the only reason why I say $20, it's so much easier just to add numbers together and stuff like that, because of the fact that that you do have just move the decimal point 1 spot to the right, so 368. So that's why I did that. So, but Kyle Schwarber's warming up here. I mean, you get your mix of home runs with Schwarber, you get a majestic moonshot like the previous one, and that one is low line drive, and there goes Schwarber again, showing why he was last year's home run king. And I think, and Mike, I'll get to your thing in a second here. Let me just do one thing here. Hold on. And Schwarber's lighting it up right now. He's got 7 home runs here. That's the high so far in this second round, even though it's just a matter of I think you got the perfect voice for this in you got the perfect voice here, Matt Vasgersian, because you never know he's going to go off with some goofy shit. So There's another one. So we hit that double, and it boosted my account big time. And that's not far enough. So 9 home runs for Kyle Schwarber. He should be in good standing here, going up against Wilson Contreras here, who will be up in a few minutes. But he had the longest wait here, so I don't know how that'll be. So, and just to let you know, Mike said this, who's popped in here. I served in the military. I am offended by Dan Baker. And, you know, I just think that, and this isn't me being Democrat or Republican. It's just me saying this just doesn't sound right. So that's why I mentioned that. So I do want to go on here, and the one thing is, AJ has his horses, and I've been the consultant to him, which may not be a good thing. But the town was claimed last time out, but like AJ said to me, he said, I'm still playing this horse to win. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to play him. So he ran at Ellis Park on Sunday. Schwarbombs. Tons and tons of Schwarbombs. So after we're done this, now if there's a guy that deserves to be booed tonight, it's Wilson Contreras. Not sure if Mike heard me say this at the beginning of the show. How many bench clearing incidents? Yeah, I knew what you meant. I didn't even notice it at first when I flew that in. But how many bench clearing incidents were there with him this year? 3, 4? I mean, the last one got him 7 games because and you would think that this really matters here because the crowd's booing the shit out of Wilson Contreras. And on top of it, every time he makes an out or doesn't hit a home run, well, technically that's an out, they're cheering like it's bottom of the 9th inning. And that's off the back wall there. I think we've only had one home run that went into Ashburn Alley. I mean, now a lot of those home runs probably would have reached Ashburn Alley. It's just that the trajectory, the left field and the right field, prevents that. But they haven't hit the canopies yet either. And Contreras has warmed up. He has warmed up here because remember, he hit first in the first round. He's hitting last in the second round here, so we got the All-Star Game version of Rust versus Rest. So but I mean, I don't know if they have. I don't know if they show the old home run derbies that they've had over the past 5-10 years. I don't know if I've seen anything like this, but all right, now they go to the magenta balls because you can't call them pink. Final swing coming up and exactly how you would want it, I guess. Pitch got away. Wilson Contreras had to run away. Now that's why he's had 3 bench clearing. At least he's laughing at this because he knows this was accidental. And Kyle Schwarber advances 9-8. Yeah, it sounds like the Phillies won the pennant. But anyways, um, as Kyle Schwarber advances to the finals here, um, only in Philly, yeah. So then the town ran on Sunday, and I almost forgot, but he ran in the third race in Ellis. Ellis. Where the fuck is Ellis? Well, that's a little inside joke between Mike and me from last Monday. But he ran at Ellis Park, and here is the call of race number 3. Tony Kalo behind the mic. If I can do this properly. Here we go. The town is the one horse in this race. So he draws the rail.
And there they go.
And also, this is a turn and a half race, as I like to call it. So it's a quirky setup here. So here we go. Let's do it again.
And there they go. Il Cavallino is showing pace. Also their races.
From his outside, Stolen Power. Stolen Power. Right alongside of Il Cavallino, a narrow leader. In the third spot is Mischief Mania. Colt 47 has the
So
fourth
the
spot.
town is dead last
Susan's
right
Boy
now,
from
but
between runners.
start
Uncle
wasn't bad.
Levko from the far outside.
It's just that he likes to
After
pit at
that
the
is
back of the
Midway
pack,
Money in
whether
the
it's
town,
dirt
a
or
late
dirt.
runner.
And
Is
this
the
was his
early
first
trailer.
test
Il
on a wet
Cavallino
track
on
as
the
well.
lead, half a length from Stolen Power to his outside. In third, races Colt 47. And right there with him is Mischief Mania 3 deep, and splitting both of them is Susan's Boy. Here's Midway Money with an eager and early move up the inside. Racing into a shared third spot, 2 lengths off the lead. Uncle Evco bides his time, 4 lengths from the front. And the town is about 5 lengths off the lead as they race to the far turn. Il Cavallino, Midway Money with this early and aggressive move along the inside to challenge. Stolen Powers under
Town
a
is moving
drive from
up here.
third. Mischief
And you're
Mania has
going to
been
see the
covering a lot
explosive
of
thing
ground.
that
Colt
he's shown on
47 saves ground.
And
Susan's
it didn't
Boy a
seem like
little
he
less than 4
really
off the
enjoyed the
lead.
mud there.
2.5 clear of the town and Uncle Evco. Many chances still. Il Cavallino
Here
with the
comes the
lead.
one along
Il
the rail.
Cavallino from the inside is Midway Money. Colt 47 tries to quicken in. A big opening along the rail for the town. And here comes the town up the inside. The town is closing. And also there races Susan's Boy. The town up the inside has come away with the lead. Susan's Boy, then Il Cavallino. It's the town in front. The town wins it from Susan's Boy, then Il Cavallino, Uncle Evco, and Stolen Power.
So the town won. So the town won if 5-1 odds, I believe. Let me double check that here for you. Yeah, paid $13.30 to win. Even though he's no longer part of the Q&A stables because he was claimed last time out. Well, it's a fictional stable, but you get the idea. We're still rooting for him and kind of hope that he somehow ends up back in Commonwealth's hands somehow. But Commonwealth isn't that type of an ownership group. But yeah, a lot of people were pissed that he got put into a $30,000 claiming tag, but he ended up winning here with that inside rail, showing the shortest different distance between 2 points is a straight line, or in terms of horse racing, riding the rail like he did. So perfect ride there by the town. And we didn't cover that in also eligible or we did not cover that on also eligible or on Quill's Picks Winners, but that was one of those races that we kind of had our eyes on. And the town is still going to be in my DRF watch, where I'll get notices that certain horses had a race, is entered for a race, or even just starting workouts and things like that. So yeah, it was an epic weekend in terms of the horses for me. And hopefully, especially if you following the so we have that. So, and forgive me, and I'll say one thing. And yes, I am a fat fuck too, even though I've been losing weight. Bobby Abreu looks like he's eaten all those home runs he hit during the home run derby in Detroit when he won. But that's just me. So, but yeah, it's good that you get like, okay, well, these Phillies did win. And there we have Michael Buffer there. And of course, you're going to get his trademarked, copyrighted phrase there, because he didn't do it at the beginning. Because why do it then when you can do it here in the finals? And just to let you know, Michael Buffer, 81 years old and still doing this shit. He also survived throat cancer, I believe. Yeah, he was treated for throat cancer back in 2008. So, I think if Bruce Buffer didn't do this, the only guy that you could have doing this is Bruce Buffer, with his "it's time" thing, where I'm not going to mimic it because next thing you know you have a lawsuit on your hands, but just acknowledge that those are the phrases that they use. We just don't use them so we don't get ourselves into trouble. But yeah, so I don't know who goes first here. Looks like Schwarber's going first here. I guess because when you seed them 1 through 4, Schwarber was the low man of the 4 that made it to the semifinals. Yeah, Schwarber's longest home run's only been 449 feet. Yeah, Michael Buffer still has the voice, thankfully. And he might be the type of guy. He might be the type of guy that be like a Paul Bear Bryant or a Paul Bear Bryant or a Joe Paterno, where they're still coaching into their 80s because they don't know what else to do with their lives, and then like a couple of months later he dies. And I don't wish that on Michael Buffer, but and also loving what he does and everything that he does. Why not? I mean, if you love what you do, you don't necessarily need to just walk away. Walk away when you say it's time. But we got 2 homers for Kyle Schwarber so far. And that's a top spin homer. Wow. That's 5 home runs for Kyle Schwarber here. And also remember, Jordan Walker didn't have to take his full 15 swings there because he ended up beating Camanero's 5 home runs fairly quickly. So and he just keeps hitting them farther and farther now. .436, not really. You gotta wonder if the pitcher's getting tired too. But Jordan Walker, from what we've seen, hasn't put much effort into his home runs. I mean, Schwarber's is brute force, but it's just that he's just a short, stocky guy. So that's 10 home runs now. He's got 1 swing left. I think that's his longest homer of the night, 445. I haven't been keeping track of how long the home runs have been. Because by the time I realized, oh yeah, it's on the bottom left-hand side. $11 home runs for Kyle Schwarber. Mike says 10 might win it. It's 11 home runs. So Walker will have to hit 12 home runs here. And there really hasn't been many home runs with the magenta ball. Maybe if they use blue balls. That's why AT&T should sponsor the Home Run Derby, so we can get my wish of blue balls. Well, that's the only time a man should wish for blue balls. But, I mean, but you could see Um, but I don't think there's been many home runs because the magenta ball is partially white, partially pink. So I think you're so used to seeing a regular baseball that when you see these magenta balls, it's like messing up your eyesight and stuff like that. At least that's just what I think. So, and and also, if you remember, Kyle Schwarber said last year he wanted to be in the home run derby this year for the Philly fans. So that was your first clue that he wanted to come back next year, come back on a new contract, which he did. Um, so, but and since we're kind of going back and forth with the home run derby and also everything that I play tonight, just want to let you know that Saturday is a big day down the Jersey Shore. Haskell Stakes on Saturday. We'll be looking at the races from Monmouth Park. I do not think that they have announced the field yet for the Haskell. No, they haven't. It probably comes out tomorrow, but probably be 14 races there, and AJ will be on track, I believe. So he'll be going through the Q&A racing. He'll be posting shit left and right on Q&A racing on Facebook. So, and I'll be on QARacing.com and these same platforms I'm streaming right now with hopefully maybe I can give you guys another huge double. How about that? So, and also Quills Picks winners is every day. No winner today, but hey, maybe we can get one tomorrow north of the border at Assiniboia Downs. So, so one thing I do want to talk about here, we'll keep it on the All-Star game feel here. Kyle Schwarber is going to be leading off for the All-Star for the NL tomorrow. He's going to lead off with the National League. He's starting as a designated hitter because Shohei Ohtani is skipping the game because to have a knee procedure ahead of the season's second half. And you did have a bunch of players bowing out here. Riley Green and two Yankees, Ben Rice and Cody Bellinger gained American League spots because of injuries. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. missed because resting a bad back. Nick Kurtz, who was supposed to replace him, sprained his thumb. Bellinger replaces Aaron Judge, who hasn't played since May 31st because of a fractured rib. Green takes over for Byron Buxton, sidelined by a hip injury. And here are the lineups for tomorrow night, barring anything changing. Where is it? There it is. So there's the lineups there. Mike Trout will start out, and I imagine he's going to get a big round of applause from the Phillies fans. Also, of course, the rumor is, hey, maybe he waives his no trade clause. Maybe, maybe not. But Trout, Yordan Alvarez, designated hitter, Shea Langoliers, the Athletics catcher, Junior Caminero, Bobby Witt Jr., Cody Bellinger takes over right field, Riley Green in left, Ben Rice at first, Ernie Clement at second, and Dylan Cease is the starting pitcher. For the National League, Kyle Schwarber, DH, Juan Soto, left field, Freddie Freeman, first base, C.J. Abrams at shortstop. Interesting to see. Max Muncy at third, Ozzie Albies at second, Brandon Marsh right field, Andy Pajes at center field, Drake Baldwin behind the plate, and Christopher Sanchez pitching. So you have 3 Phillies starting, 3 Dodgers, 2 Braves, a National, and a Met. And there you go with the crowd booing. It's amazing how this is an exhibition. The Philly crowd is acting like it's the end of the world. But the interesting thing is with the starting pitchers, Dylan Cease is the first Blue Jay to start an All-Star game since 2009. Christopher Sanchez is the first Philly to start an All-Star game since 2011. And Jordan Walker hits 2 home runs. And those are your typical Citizens Bank Park home runs where they're not that high up off the ground, but it's high enough that it clears the fence, especially in left field. So he's been making it effortless the whole night. So, but the ironic thing about the starting pitchers for tomorrow's game is the fact that the starting pitcher for the Blue Jays in 2009 and the Phillies in 2011, they were both Roy Halladay. When I saw that, I'm like, man, that's weird. Ollie Marmol, the most overrated manager in baseball, laughing there. So you got 7 swings left here.
Jordan Walker. A call that belies his relative inexperience, not just in this event.
Yeah, he may be pressing a little bit here, in my opinion. And I think the home run derby doesn't affect Jordan Walker either. Now, I don't know much about him, but it doesn't. It seems like it's fairly. It looks like it's fairly effortless what he's doing. I mean, it isn't like he's really pressing too much when he swings. And that's probably his longest home run of the night. At least this round, it's probably his longest. And his father's the only one cheering for him. And of course, you take a couple of pitches here because you're using the magenta ball. I think that hit the top of the fence and went over, which is a home run. It's 11-10. I think that's the most home runs with one swing left, 2 of them. And Jordan Walker wins here 12-11. And that was fun. That was fun. But that's a free and easy swing that he has. It isn't anything that So I guess that right now this is the perfect setup for home run derby because this is what they wanted. They wanted to go down to the final swing, and guess what? They got it. So no complaints at all from me. I mean, I had Murakami winning, so I ended up losing that. So, but we'll continue on here with a couple of different things here before. Yeah, it was fun. Now, we'll get back to baseball here. We'll close it out. We did talk about Sanchez and Cease starting the game. Cease is the American League starter. Christopher Sanchez for the Phillies. Dave Roberts, who's managing the National League because they won the World Series last year. He said about Sanchez that he thinks he deserves it. He's the hometown ball player, and I think the city of Philly will enjoy watching him and supporting him. I had a conversation with him this morning. He was very grateful. Whenever this interview was, He was very grateful in a time when guys were not wanting to participate. This guy is in Midsummer Classic for fans. This guy in the Midsummer Classic for fans, I think it's a good thing. He's very excited about pitching. And Dylan Cease had an interesting way of finding out. Cease got the word from his manager, John Schneider, who skippers the American League squad because Blue Jays made it to the World Series, during a team meeting before Sunday's series finale at San Diego. Dylan Cease said it's pretty surreal. I didn't know what to say. Everyone's saying give a speech. I'm like, I was pretty speechless. So it was just a really cool experience. So those are the two pitchers. So we'll see. That's tomorrow night, and that's on Fox, 8 o'clock. And we went through the lineups and everything. So barring anything unforeseen, those are the lineups. Now, I did see that. Now, here's the thing. I don't watch UFC like I used to. Part of the problem is the fact that, when it was on FS1, Fox Sports 1, it would be on all the time. And I was even actually getting when they were on pay-per-view, or I would go to wherever to watch it. But then it went to ESPN. It went to ESPN pay-per-views. I'm like, no, I'm not giving ESPN my money. So, but now everything is kind of like the WWE PLE setup now, where you don't pay anything extra. You just pay for the membership or for joining Paramount Plus. But I had I watched the last two fights. And the last two fights combined lasted about 2 minutes. But in a way, that's the way UFC can be. But the fight before that was like a 45-second fight. The one fighter choked out the other. And, that's something that you'll see from time to time in UFC. But we had a bit of controversy with the Conor McGregor fight. Because he blew out his knee allegedly during the fight. And I say allegedly because watching the end of it, I didn't have the sound all the way up because I was doing multiple different things. So they did, and after the fight, they're showing like, well, he did this crazy kick and he didn't land right and all that. And that's what forced his knee to tear and all that. But then they show like him taking his shoes off. And they showed him hobble a little bit. So, you could say, well, did something happen there when right before the extra referee puts the Vaseline under the eyes to prevent cuts and all that stuff? Did he do it there at the end of the walk-up? And of course, because everything now is so gambling oriented, everything is this is fixed. Now, mind you, that's the second time he's blown out his knee. He broke his leg 5 years ago. He had a partial knee tear before the fight, before another fight in one. So he's had his share of leg and knee injuries. And the thing is, with all the kicks that they do, you wonder how these UFC fighters don't break their legs more often in fights. And Max Holloway said it best is, it's rare that you're 100% going into a fight. I mean, even just the physicality of training, get ready for the fight is probably one thing. And then on top of that, you're cutting weight last minute because, you want to hit, in this case, under 171 pounds or under, because it was a welterweight fight, which is 170 pounds. Now, could there have been something going on ahead of time? Maybe, but Conor McGregor did announce that he is going to have surgery on his knee. Obviously, he said surgery, prehab, return to the martial arts practice, go again. McGregor wrote on Instagram today, final fight of the contract, because the way UFC is, you're under contract for X amount of fights. So he's got one fight left. The exact diagnosis is unknown. Now, it could be ACL, it could be everything went, but I think in his case, he was so amped up for the fight because, first time you're in the ring in 5 years, the octagon. So he was probably so amped up that, oh, by the way, watch this. Out goes the knee. But he will be 38 tomorrow, I believe. He turns 38 tomorrow. And, his body's taken a lot of beating, a big beating over the years. And, he's fought in UFC since 2013, and he's had fights in other organizations before that. But so the UFC didn't publicly comment on McGregor's situation, other than Dana White stating he had 5 ideas for McGregor's next opponent had he defeated Holloway. Well, he didn't. So McGregor's injuries: a torn ACL in 2013, ironically with his first clash with Holloway, when they both fought at featherweight, which is 145. A partially torn ACL ahead of his interim title fight against Chad Mendes in 2015. A broken left leg during his first round loss to Dustin Poirier in 2021. And a broken toe that forced him to withdraw from his scheduled bout against Michael Chandler in 2024. So he's had a ton of injuries. And, I think that sometimes you can hide these injuries because they happen in training, but he's had 3 injuries in the ring, in the octagon, and he had another injury during training that forced him to cancel a bout. But, I'm not buying that it was it was completely fixed or whatever people are saying. I'm just glad I didn't bet on the fight. I'm just like, whatever. But by the time he comes back, he's going to be 39. It may even be 40. We don't know exactly how bad that knee injury is, but whatever the injury is, it was a significant injury, and you could see, because it seemed like at first they kept saying how he kept falling down, and once you saw his leg give out for like the 4th time, referee thankfully called the fight. And Max Holloway's also saying, guess what? He's trying to tell him he's hurt. And, some fighters are like, all right, he's hurt. Let me pound him and make the ref call this. Max Holloway's like, he's hurt. Call this. All right, you're not calling it now. I'll do a couple more punches here. But he ended up doing a couple different let him come up, and actually ended up the knee buckled again, and the referee called it. So, but I will say this: say what you will, nothing will surprise me. Um, if you want to say that the fight was fixed, I won't. I won't question you if, as long as it's um, as long as it's a half decent argument. I also will say that it, it, I wouldn't argue that he legitimately injured that in the octagon, or even even in the um, walk up to the ring, because they did show him hopping when he took his shoes off when he went to the ring. So, uh, but whatever it is, I won't be surprised if, because I think they said there was an investigation going on with this. Um, but if I didn't watch it on Saturday night, I probably would not have. Um, do not see them doing anything. So, um, but thankfully, the home run derby tonight did not disappoint, and that's a good thing because I had to improvise tonight because my printer is out right now. Um, Mike knows how much shit I print. Um, what happens is they have like this waste container in there. Um, so it's called a waste ink pad, and the extra ink that you use ends up on this pad in the back portion of um, the printer. So there's two options. I could go with a video that I found on YouTube, which is my backup plan, um, or I can put this in here. Um, so it comes with a screwdriver, gloves because you're going to knock ink all over the place, a waste bag, and the actual waste cartridge. And I had the 2850. So you can see there's waste pads there that collect the residue from the ink. Gloves, a seal bag, dual head screwdriver, and you take the cover off the back, you take out the old product, you put in the new product, put the lid on, and I think there's also a setting that I have to do as well. So, and there's videos as well. So my printer is out for now, but it'll be back up and running sometime tomorrow. But yeah, so because it was something I was coming up on, that waste pad was on its end of life. The printer's not on the end of life; it's just that waste pad. But it just shows how much I've used my printer over the last couple of years. So, but we'll be back at it tomorrow. So, and hopefully as much as everything we've done here. So once again, also eligible Saturday, 10 a.m. Definitely have to have my um, I'll have to have my printer ready to go because of the fact that um, I print my script out at the very least. So, um, but we will get that going here. as I'm exiting Netflix for the night. So, and I also had a different setup tonight. I don't have all the light in here. I only have the light that is next to my table here. I only used that one tonight. Gave a little bit of a different effect tonight. So hopefully doesn't, but you know, but everything will be ready to go tomorrow night at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, excuse me. Maybe I start early and just do a All-Star Game sidecast. I don't know. But that's why you want to go to twitch.tv/Joe Quills, because if you do that, and those that are on Twitch already see all the socials. That's all the places you can get me. Just go to there. If you go to twitch.tv/Joe Quills, you can subscribe and follow. Prefer subscribe, but you know, if you don't want to, I mean, me, I don't subscribe to many people. I follow a lot of people, but twitch.tv/Joe Quills to subscribe. So, and I'm getting a reload the page here. So 1 second. Oh, that's the chat. Okay. And it's weird because everything I had there for like the last 45 minutes on Twitch just totally disappeared. All Mike's comments and the spammer that I had in there, all that disappeared, but whatever. We're done. So, and also if you're on the East Coast, stay hydrated because it is going to be hot AF. Wednesday is going to be near 100. May not have Thursday racing this week at Parks. And it is supposed to be 94 and 84 on Saturday. So I don't know. Looking at getting more content at Parks because it's Sixers Day at Parks on Thursday. So we'll do that. So that's it for now. And do appreciate everybody watching tonight and watching after the fact, because you can go even onto my Twitch and watch. It'll stay there for a month. My YouTube will stay on there forever. The Q&A Sports Zone YouTube, the same. So you can watch this, and this doesn't time out as much as Also Eligible. So, but that is it for now. I hope everybody has a great night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night.